Hi everybody, I am Dr. Bhavani Rao. I am Professor of Surgery. Artificial intelligence is everywhere. It's there in your smartphones. Particularly, it is there in your Google Assistant and Siri. For example, you can activate Google Assistant by long pressing the home button, or after training simply say OK Google. So it is useful for many things like
I'm happy to help.
OK, OK Google, multiply 256 and 146.
The answer is 37,376.
You can also ask how many sons does Mahatma Gandhi have?
According to Daily Hint, Gandhiji and Kasturba Gandhi had 4 sons. Mahatma Gandhi's sons' names were Harilal, Manilal, Ramdas and Devdas.
You can also ask Google Assistant to remind to buy something. OK Google, remind me to buy printer cable when I reach Daba Gardens.
Okay, I'll remind you when you get to Alipuram.
Or you can ask it to remember a shopping list. Remember to add shaving cream in my shopping list.
Sure, add shaving cream in my shopping list. When do you want to be reminded?
Tomorrow morning 11 o'clock.
Okay, I'll remind you tomorrow at 11 am.
This is particularly useful for anybody, but I will demonstrate today the usefulness of Google Assistant for doctors and medical students. I will ask a series of questions starting from anatomy. What structures does urogenital sinus gives rise to?
According to Wikipedia, in males, the UG sinus is divided into 3 regions: upper, pelvic, and phallic. The upper part gives rise to the urinary bladder and the pelvic part gives rise to the prostatic and membranous parts of the urethra.
Okay Google, what is CRISPR?
According to Wikipedia, CRISPR is a family of DNA sequences found within the genomes of prokaryotic organisms such as bacteria and archaea.
What is the histology of squamous cell carcinoma?
According to NCBI, squamous cell carcinoma of the scrotum is a tumor that is of interest for clinical and historical reasons. It was the first cancer linked to occupational exposure when, in 1775, Parival Pott described it in chimney sweeps in England.
Okay Google, what is the histological features of squamous cell carcinoma?
According to DermNet NZ, typical SCC has nests of squamous epithelial cells arising from the epidermis and extending into the dermis. The malignant cells are often large with abundant eosinophilic cytoplasm and a large, often vesicular, nucleus. Variable.
What is dengue fever?
According to Apollo Hospitals, a mosquito-borne viral disease occurring in tropical and subtropical areas.
Which organism causes dengue fever?
According to WebMD, dengue fever is transmitted by the bite of an Aedes mosquito infected with the dengue virus. The mosquito becomes infected when it bites a person with dengue virus in their blood.
What is functional endoscopic sinus surgery?
According to Wikipedia, functional endoscopic sinus surgery is a minimally invasive surgical treatment which uses nasal endoscopes to enlarge the nasal drainage pathways of the paranasal sinuses to improve sinus ventilation.
Do the cotton wool exudates occur in diabetic retinopathy?
According to Diabetes, American Diabetes Association, Cotton wool spots are a feature of both mild and severe diabetic retinopathy, but while their appearance is similar to that in hypertension, the associated capillary abnormalities are more severe.
How much is the health budget of India?
According to the Economic Times, New Delhi, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman Friday announced 62,659.12 crore rupees outlay for the health sector in the 2019-2020 fiscal, the highest in the last 2 financial years.
How much of the GDP is spent on health budget?
According to World Health Organization, current expenditure on health as a share of gross domestic product has been stable since 2000, averaging 3.84%. Private expenditure as a share of GDP is 3 times more than government's.
What is Morbid's type 1 Wenky box phenomena?
These came back from a search.
What is Morbid's type 1 Winky box phenomena?
Here are the top search results. According to Merriam-Webster, medical definition of Wenckebach phenomenon: heart block in which a pulse from the atrium periodically does not reach the ventricle and which is characterized by progressive prolongation of the PR interval until a pulse is skipped.
What cations are absorbed in Henle's loop?
According to Wikipedia, sodium Na plus potassium and chloride ions are reabsorbed from the urine by secondary active transport by a NaKCl cotransporter. The electrical and concentration gradient drives more reabsorption of Na plus as well as other cations such as magnesium and calcium.
What is normal serum T3 level?
According to eMedicine, Medscape, the reference range of total triiodothyronine is 80 to 220 nanograms per deciliter in adults and 125 to 250 nanograms per deciliter in children.
What is the root value of knee jerk?
According to the precise neurological exam, the knee-jerk reflex is mediated by the L3 and L4 nerve roots, mainly L4. Insult to the cerebellum may lead to pendular reflexes.
What is the pediatric dose of cefotaxime?
Here are some results from a search.
What is the drug of choice for tinea versicolor?
Intraconazole. Here's a summary from Medscape. Fluconazole and intraconazole are the preferred oral agents. Various dosing regimens have been used. Fluconazole has been offered as a single 150 to 300 mg weekly dose for 2 to 4 weeks.
What is Montegio fracture?
According to Wikipedia, the Montegio fracture is a fracture of the proximal third of the ulna with dislocation of the proximal head of the radius.
What is the difference between anteflexion and anteversion of uterus?
According to Human Anatomy, anteversion refers to the position of the uterus in which its long axis is bent forward on the long axis of the vagina. Anteflexion refers to the position in which the long axis of the body of the uterus is bent forward on the long axis of the vagina at the internal OS.
What are the types of bariatric surgery?
According to ASMBS, the most common bariatric surgery procedures are gastric bypass, sleeve gastrectomy, adjustable gastric band, and biliopancreatic diversion with duodenal switch. Each surgery has its own advantages and disadvantages.
What is the usefulness of magnetic nanoparticles in MRI?
According to Intech Open, multifunctional NP benefit from the ability to combine iron or other metals to the conventional iron oxide material. Combined hypothermia and MRI rely on doping iron oxide particles with metals such as Mn and Gd in order to control their thermodynamic properties.
What are the recent advances of glioblastoma multiforme?
Here are some results from a search.
Thank you very much for patient listening.